Hello there, it's Jennifer Huff, and I am live from Asheville from my gorgeous office with my Susan Crawford painting in the background. And so what are we talking about today? So the activation of the today is all about what human superpowers are. And are they actually superpowers? And why do superpowers matter with respect to building bridges to harmony, with respect to building bridges to a different world, with respect to building bridges to what's possible for each of our individual lives. So I'm going to tell you the story. Basically, about, let's say 10 years ago, I was running a very large holistic nutrition practice. And while I was with my clients, I started to be able to hear and see things that other people weren't hearing and seeing. And I thought at first that I was crazy because remember, I have a very linear, logical, biological accounting brain. And as I was I was talking about nutrition, I was understanding cleanses and all these kinds of things. And what was happening as I was looking at the idea of human superpowers, well, actually, at the time I wasn't looking at the idea of human superpowers. What was happening is that, first of all, I thought it was crazy and I was hearing things. And then I started having wakened dreams that were showing me pictures and diagrams and were causing me to understand, and thank you for all your kind comments, everyone, that were causing me to see, feel, and hear. So I was seeing with my cells and feeling with my cells and hearing with my cells and tasting with my cells all at the same time, but I didn't understand what was really going on. And I knew answers to things about my clients that I didn't understand. And I was also extremely guided at the same time not to give my clients the answers that I could see, but to actually ask them questions that would allow them to see answers that were even deeper than I could see. That's where the genius lay. And so as I was able to do that, I just went with it. Even though it was freaking me out and I was judging myself. I really didn't want to tell anyone that that's what I was doing because I didn't want to be judged or feel separate or feel above or beyond or whatever. And I was getting referred clients from all over the world at the time, and it was because of these see, feel, hear abilities with my cells that I didn't understand. So I started in my wakened dreams to be able to ask, what exactly is going on? Why can I see, feel, hear, taste, touch with my cells, not with my eyes or my ears, but why when I'm in front of someone that I'm assisting does that happen? And this is where the idea of superpowers started to come to fruition. So I can't wait to experience it with you too, Katerina. So I would love to work with you. But why was I experiencing it? Well, because I had a profound yearning to heal myself. I was still getting migraines. And so I started in my wakened dreams to ask, what the heck is going on with the way that I'm experiencing human beings, and why am I able to help them so deeply? And what came back was these diagrams of multidimensional genetics that I got shown in a floating classroom in a wakened dream, where I opened the door with my mind to this classroom, went and sat midair with this whiteboard midair. I mean, it was quite freaky. And I started to be shown all of these diagrams, all of these ways that our multidimensional aspects work. Now, I was already open to it. I had studied 10 years ago. I had already met Gregg Braden, and I had met Bruce Lipton, and I had done all that work 10 years ago. And so I was an open door to the science of it, and all of a sudden what I understood was that human beings came complete with biological bridges that allowed us to experience and commune directly with consciousness. And the problem was that nobody was talking about it and why that would be. So I asked, why is that? And they said, well, that's how you were designed in the first place. You were designed that way totally in the first place. The reason you were designed that way is because you were designed to bring heaven to earth, but heaven is really the multidimensional nature of the universe where everything is in complete flow. Everything is in fluidity. All of the different dimensions speak to each other, including the third dimension, including this dimension. So every dimension speaks to the other dimensions. It's just human beings act like they're only three-dimensional. The problem is 95% of what we're actually comprised of is multidimensional. We're comprised of abilities like intuition, instinct, the ability to utilize unconditional love to bring a situation that isn't working into congruence, the ability to activate another person with our own innate abilities, the ability to see another so profoundly that they start to see themselves because you stand in that same ability. These are all what I call multidimensional abilities, but they're not actually superpowers. They're actually for everyone. Every single human being has the capacity to see another such that they can start to see themselves. To use the idea of love. I was just talking to a client this morning. I know this is a big mess over here, but I was talking to a client this morning to understand relationships and how when we're in a relationship, when we let love win, love is actually a multidimensional aspect of us, and the codes of which can bring any misunderstanding in a relationship into congruency if you let love win. But it's a multidimensional ability that we have that we don't quite understand. We're too busy trying to be right or trying to defend. So these abilities, let me reiterate for the people that are just joining, these abilities are not new. These abilities came complete with humanity because we were meant to be alchemical. We were meant to be alchemists. We were meant to be quite magical, which is why we're comprised of 95% the space between the atoms, the space between the valence shells of the electrons. The space between it all is where 95% of us resides. Our three-dimensional selves are such a small portion of who we are. Now, and we have in our cells telomeres that actually pick up and send photon packages of light, just like plants do, which was discovered in the 50s and 60s by a German scientist. But human beings are the same as plants and trees and all of that. We give off photon packages of light, which go out into consciousness, and we also receive them. That is the way that our multi-dimensions, our greater selves, actually, our wiser aspects, actually wiser. Let's say the complete package is able to commune with us and allow us to go direct with consciousness so we can get ideas and creativity and affect change on this planet at a much faster pace. Because when you deal with the multidimensional world, you get non-linear ideas that give you non-linear results. So you don't have to wait for the time-space continuum to catch up. So if anyone was ever worried about this world changing, the more we catch up to our superpowers, the more our ability to go direct with consciousness is upgraded, the more our ability to affect change in an exponential way is also upgraded, and the more we can use the tools that I talked about earlier, like love, like the codes that are associated with unconditionality, like our ability to see another with ourselves so powerfully that the other has the chance to see themselves, the ability to see what's really going on from 100,000 feet up, such that you would get an answer that would change the energy of a situation, a political aspect of a country, fight with your sweetie pie. We have the capacity to do all of that in a meeting where there's too much contrast. We have the ability to see the deeper truths, and we get to drop truth bombs into the middle of that simply by connecting and going direct with deeper conscious and understanding what's really going on. So these superpowers allow us to transcend that earthly plane. If you've ever seen the movie Tomorrowland, which is a great movie, in that movie, I had this dream before I saw this movie of people popping their heads, and if you're with me long enough, you even heard me tell the story, people popping their heads above the clouds, that the din or the density of the way we live, where it's dog eat dog and there aren't enough resources and we have to fight for our piece of the pie, that keeps us underneath the cloud and not seeing who we really are. And it keeps our multidimensional genetics atrophied because you never use them when you're in survival mode. But when you poke your head above the cloud, you realize the sun was there the whole time. And in the movie Tomorrowland, everyone sort of, it's almost like they come out of the illusion and they end up in the field, which is kind of an amazing metaphor. And in that field, they meet each other and they move towards the way humanity was. They together find each other and move towards a vision for humanity that's very different. And much like those superpowered people in that movie, which I would go and watch it because it's a great activation for what I'm speaking about right now. So are some of those Avenger movies. We have the capacity to do so much more than what we do, but we have to be willing to thrive. We also have to be willing to be seen. We also, this is a big one, have to be willing to absolutely 100% choose to be here on the planet. Many of us that are sensitive, we're sensitive because we have the capacity to build bridges for humanity. You need to be sensitive to what's going on in order to build those bridges. So it actually becomes an essential aspect. The problem is when we're sensitive, we go into survival even more, which is crazy, isn't it? When that very sensitivity is your doorway to your superpowers. So I wanted to let you know that tomorrow night, we are on Thursday, November the 8th. We're doing our monthly wake-up call, which we lovingly call Bliss You calls, BLISSU. And tomorrow's topic is understanding the superpowers necessary for complete freedom in your life and freedom from analysis and distraction so you can go direct. And we're going to talk about what it takes to transcend the stuff that's in the way so that you can embody these superpowers. So we're going to do lots of activations. We're going to open a few portals and actually do one of the new innate abilities. So if you're up for that kind of journey, or if you know someone that's up for this kind of conversation about multidimensional genetics that allow us multidimensional abilities that are way beyond these three-dimensional abilities, if you know you were born to build bridges for humanity and make the world a better place, then I hope you come on that monthly wake-up call. That monthly wake-up call you can actually register for at thewideawakening.com/monthly wake-up call. Go figure, right? thewideawakening.com/monthly wake-up call. Please come play, especially, again, if you want to meet in the field with others who feel the same. Pass that link on to your friends. It is time to wake up. We are all agents of awakening. And all of my Wiccan dreams showed me that I was absolutely called and meant to create the communities, one of the people that is called to create the communities of those that feel a call to be and do something more, to build bridges back to the way human beings were meant to be. So, and to make the world a better place in a very pragmatic way. So if you're one of those people whose heart feels called to that, if you're one of those unicorns that felt like you didn't belong, it's because you're the pioneer of a shift. Most pioneers don't feel like they belong, but the cool thing is that when you're with a bunch of people that feel the same way, instantaneously you're seen and understood. So come and play in a place where you're seen and understood. That's what our work is all about. All right, you guys, I love you madly. Thank you so much for being on this Facebook Live. I hope you got a better understanding of those superpowers. Of course, they're much more than what I've stated here. This is just the beginning. This has sort of been a life's work since those Wakened Dreams 10 years ago. So there's so much juice to this. I can't wait to share it with you. Unicorn power unite. Exactly, Sherry. Unicorns, it's the Unicorn Nation right here. All right, you guys, I love you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow night on the monthly wake-up call at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And yes, you do get the replay if you can't be there. So if you register, you'll get the replay. But if you can't be there, and ask questions, and let's dive in together, and let's do a channeled co-creative session where we dive into the depths of what's possible for all of us. Okay, you guys, I love you so much. Thanks for being one of the members of the Heaven on Earth construction crew. Yay! We're all in this together. Mwah!